What's up, core reporters? Welcome back to my channel. Disgraced, former, but coming back, but not yet here, Teen Mom 2 star Jenelle had a lot to say this week on her Instagram account in the form of her typical Ask Me Anything questionnaire. And of course, she couldn't help but throw some shade at her former co-star Chelsea Houska as well. Let's get into some of the things that she had to say. She also provided some updates about her estranged husband, David Eason. So we truly are in for a treat. So let's just get started right away, shall we? Someone asked, do you still talk to Leah, Kale, or Chelsea? To which Jenelle responded, nope. It's funny how Chelsea does an interview and plays nice like we all still talk. Laughing emoji. I just find them all two-faced. First of all, Jenelle, Chelsea did not act like y'all still spoke. All she said was, I don't know nothing about that girl. I don't know nothing about her trashy ass life. But I wish her well. It was a very diplomatic answer, but you lack a lot of nuance and you lack a lot of emotional intelligence or social intelligence to see that response for what it was. It was a very diplomatic way of saying, I don't know that lady and I do not want to be associated with her or her trashy ass life. Like, she was not like, oh, I know Jenelle, we're cool, I hope she's doing well. She just said, you know what, I hope she's all right, and that's that. Someone else asked, do you let your children watch stupid videos or do you check what they can watch? Jenelle responds, I check everything they watch. The younger kids don't even have iPads. Everything is on TV where I can see, which I say good for her. I think that's important. With limits, though, because remember, I talked about this a lot on my channel about how my parents were super strict about what we'd watch. And we were 4 kids. So you know what we would do when we moved into one of our houses where like our living room was on one side, their living room was on the other side? We would like alternate every night. Someone was the watch who would always be like this on the ground, like looking over to make sure neither of them are getting up to come, because the kitchen is behind our living room, to come to the kitchen or anything like that to see what we're up to. And you know what we'd be watching? Regular things like The Simpsons, Family Guy, South Park, King of the Hill. Is that bad? I don't think it's bad, but that's what we were watching. Someone said Australia loves you, 420 love from down under, and Jenelle says that she might be there in January 2025, which I think would be the furthest Jenelle has traveled, because up until now she's only done what, like St. Thomas or something like that. Someone says, do you still believe in love, want to get married again someday? And Jenelle said that, yeah, I still believe in love, but being married again, I have no idea. Ask me in 5 years. Which, I get it. Janelle is going through a lot of drama right now, uncoupling herself, aka, going through a separation before being able to divorce David Eason. The amount of like money she's lost in that relationship to that, like, chronically unemployed man who wants to take her for all she has. He's squatting on her boat. Like, if she were just dating him, she would be able to get rid of him and just like wipe her hands clean easily. But because they're married, it's a lot more complicated than that. And so I could see why that would discourage people going through a divorce from, marrying ever again. But at the same time, this is her second divorce, and her first divorce was very, very quick and easy. So maybe she's going to be like, you know what, maybe I just had like a bad run this time. Maybe if I get married again, either A, it'll last forever, or B, it'll be a quick one, like quick divorce like my first one. Who knows? Someone else says, how did you and Tori get back in touch? So Tori is Jenelle's longtime only friend / on and off again friend, and now they are back in the on phase of their relationship. And Jenelle claims that Tori reached out to her and asked how she was doing after the separation, and then Jenelle caved in and decided to give her another chance, which is interesting. I wonder what Tori did to need another chance. Like, Jenelle, are you sure it wasn't your fault? For me, it's always Janelle's fault until proven otherwise, okay? So I feel like Tori's the one that gave you another chance. Someone else asked, do you still use your Dodge Charger? I loved it. And then Jenelle tells a wild story about this one, saying, it was under my name and Nathan's. Nathan stole it from the airport one time when I went out of town because he had the spare key. Then he dropped it back off to the dealership and handed it in, even though I was the one making payments. I roll. I wanted to keep it though, moaning. I don't know how that would work out like that, to be honest with you. I think if her name is also on the car, I don't think it's as simple as turning it in and cashing out on his own, because if Janelle's name's on the car as well, and she's the one making the payments, they're saying that these are coming from the account of Jenelle, they would have reached out to Jenelle first. Even if she wasn't the one making the payments, just like her name being on that card, they would have to have her approval as well before doing anything with the car. So I'm not really buying the story. I think that it's something bigger than that. But like with Nathan being, MIA, she knows that he's not going to dispute the story, so she can just go ahead and say whatever it is that she wants. Someone else said, "Don't you think Chelsea is in a different place to be bitchy towards you?" And I think it means like Chelsea is not even thinking about you, girl. And then Jenelle responds with, "Behind closed doors, she hates me and always has. If she was genuine, she would actually reach out to me personally rather than, quote, wishing me luck during a public interview. She's never acted as a friend towards me. Nice to your face, though. Upside down smiley." Well, that's the thing, sometimes there are people that we don't like, and there are people where you're like, I would never be friends with them. But, in being a nice person and being a diplomatic person, you're still going to be cordial towards them, which it feels as though Chelsea has been towards you. In fact, I remember a time where Chelsea actually held your child, I think it was Kaiser, while you and David were on a crazy rampage against Nathan, and you had like no F's to give about that child. So she picked him up and she protected him. So I could see why she's like, doesn't want anything to do with you. Like, I don't think any reasonable person would want anything to do with Jenelle, and her lifestyle and just like her just terrible way of being, to be honest with you. And I don't think that, again, Jenelle lacks social intelligence and stuff like that, because I don't think she understands that this person is basically saying Chelsea's in a different place, dude. She's got her own HGTV show that has like triple the ratings of this Teen Mom show you're begging to get back on. Okay, she's not trying to actually be friends with you. She was just being cordial. And then Janelle's like, she's fake. No, she's cordial. The next person asked or said, "Talk about David being the rebound from hell and you never got over Nathan, please." And then Jenelle says, "I never got over Nathan. I don't know why any of you say that or, quote, get back with him when he has his own issues at the moment, and I'm not looking to place myself in between that. He needs to work on himself for Kaiser. He knows how severe his alcohol problem is. I don't want to be with someone like that." To which I say good, and I hope that's true, right? Like, it is true that Nathan has very, very severe issues. He was recently arrested for strangling his sister. His sister passed out, you guys. Like, he is nuts. So, like, the fact that people bring him up sometimes, like, oh, she should get back together with him or he should have custody of Kaiser. Like, no, he's nuts. He's nuts. Jenelle made perfectly sure that all her baby daddies were as trash, if not worse trash than she is. So these kids are screwed either way. And I feel like typically these men are even worse trash than she is. For example, Andrew, who went MIA and never really cared about Jace, only spoke to him a handful of times in his life. I think he even stood Barbara up when she was trying to broker, some communications between the two of them. Nathan, the town strangler, and he also beats up his girlfriends. Then we've got David. What else can be said about that? So I'm sorry, I will never advocate for these kids to go with their fathers, because these fathers are even worse than Jenelle, unfortunately. Someone else said or asked, does the kids see David at all? Okay, do the kids see David at all? To which Jenelle responded, nope. And that's something that she's been rather consistent with. She has been saying pretty much since David left the swamp and squatted on the boat that he has had no communication with Ensley or any of the other children. And I know that the court order in the restraining order that she just got against David says that he is allowed to have contact with Ensley. So the idea that he's not exercising that right, even though he was fighting against the restraining order, is a little sus, to be honest with you. And I don't think it's going to play in his favor when the divorce goes through and they start dealing with child custody issues. Next, someone told Jenelle, thank you for normalizing cutting off toxic parents. Without your story, I wouldn't be where I am today. Heart emojis. Jenelle responded with, yes, it's been super nice, and I'm glad I'm cutting off negative energy left and right. Proud of you too. You're welcome. I kind of feel like Jenelle sent that to herself, because she's always looking for a reason to talk about her mother, especially in a negative capacity. And this just feels like one of those, I think it is great to cut off toxic family members, even if it's just for a short period of time, if need be. But I think that people already knew that, or they've already heard that from other public figures, and people can see that in this situation, Jenelle is the toxic one who chose, a very, 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 very unhinged man over her children, over her mom, over her family, and that Jenelle is the toxic one in the dynamic. So I kind of feel like she just wanted to add that in there, because one thing about Jenelle is she's always going to find a way, a rhyme, a reason to speak about Barbara. Anyway, how did you feel about Jenelle's latest Q&A session on the gram? Let me know all of your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below. And as usual, we'll chat. That's all for now. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.